This is Sarcasm Speaks. Jared and Bob flying at you. So we're gonna start with I guess you could call it a rant or a quasi rant. It's been put off a little bit. There's a big happenings had happened. That's a fun way to say that. A big happenings had happened probably about a week ago at this point. But between us being away for the bachelor party and recording a bunch of episodes up front, and then the last episode we just got back, we talked a lot about the bachelor party and all that shit. Now we're done with that. Bachelor party's come and gone. It was a fun time. But it's time to get back to business here. The hard-hitting news that you guys come to us for. So President Biden has officially relieved $10,000 of student loan debt across the board. That's not so much true. Across the board for anyone that makes less than $125,000 a year, or $250 if you file jointly, if you file taxes jointly. So allow me to take a victory lap because I believe on this very show, we spoke about this, I don't know, probably sometime around March, because I think the last extension was April, right? If I'm not mistaken, and they extended it from April to August. I think, right? Or they extended it from March to August, or something like that, right? So I'm going to take a victory lap on that, right? Because I said that, what do? It expires in August. What happens to be in August? Well, it's like right around the time where, the campaign stuff starts to get pretty hot and heavy, end of August into September. And then, that rolls you into November for elections. So what are the Democrats going to try and do? Well, they'll relieve the student loan debt, and then they'll just try and ride the coattails of that through the elections in November. And now they can be like, hey, remember, we voted to get you $10,000 of student loan debt to go away. So I'll take my victory lap on that one because I called it. We both called. I can't, I'm not going to take all the spotlight here.
I doubt that was like one of my original thoughts, though, or one of my original takes.
But I think you were on board when I said it. It wasn't one of those where we had opposing views.
Yeah, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, then it's a witch. It's very simple.
Obviously. So there we go. That's going to happen. Now, I made a post about this on my personal Instagram. I have some feelings about this, right? So personally, and I've had a conversation with a few people about this. Am I happy that I get $10,000 essentially for free, right? Just given to me, taken away from my student loans? Yeah, absolutely. Like, you would have to be a fucking moron to be like, oh, the government wants to forgive $10,000 of my debt. Nah, I don't want them to forgive that.
I have a follow-up question on that, but go on.
So first of all, am I happy? Sure. Right? Like, yes, the government just is in the process of taking away $10,000 of my fucking student loan debt. Cool. Awesome. However, do I think it's a good idea? No, I think it's a terrible fucking idea. And we've talked about this multiple times on the show already. It is such a fucking messy situation, right? Because on one hand, you have people our age that were able to pay off their student loans already without government assistance, right? So what do you tell those people? Like, hey, cool, you made it, but all these other people, yeah, we're just going to give them money. So good work spending your own money and eating fucking ramen noodles and peanut butter and jellies for however long you did so you could pay off your student loans early. But these assholes, we're just going to give them 10 grand. So that's a problem, right? And then the other problem, and I know there's a little bit of nuance here, right? Because there's people that went to college years ago that are a little bit older than us. college was a little bit cheaper back then, right? So, most of the people, I would say, under the age of 40 probably still have some sort of significant. So let me rephrase this. Most people under 40, if they still have student loans, they probably have a significant amount, right? Like, does that make sense? Like, so I'm saying most of. Now, there's also people that are probably, in their 30s that are very close to paying off their student loan debt. But I would say on average, if you're under 40 and you have student loan debt, it's most likely to be in the tens of thousands, right? Is that fair? You think that's fair to say?
So I gotta be honest, like in terms of like talking figs,
yeah,
I don't know shit because
you figure if you're under 40, you've been out of college for less than 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Like, I mean, college, I mean, we've gone over prices.
Right.
I guess it all just depends. I don't even know. I don't even know what people owe these days.
But so that's just kind of a side point that, we have there. But, those people, what if you have the person that, like I said, maybe they're a little bit older, maybe they're in their 40s, maybe they just finished paying off their student loans during COVID because of the interest pause. And now here we are, and the government's like, no, everyone that still has them gets $10,000. So
there's still an interest pause.
Yes. So that got extended.
Fucking insane.
That got extended again till December 31st. So this is the final countdown.
Yeah, that's what they say until enough people fucking cry about it.
So they extended the student loan interest pause till December 31st of this year, and they forgave $10,000 for anyone that makes less than $125 a year. So again, I would be a fucking moron if I sat here and was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to take the 10,000. Obviously, I'm going to take the 10,000, but it's a terrible fucking idea. It should never have passed in the first place. And then on the other side of that, right? Well, again, we've talked about this on the show. It does nothing for personal responsibility either. Like, we've said this before. I was a dumb fucking 21-year-old, 22-year-old that took out loans that I didn't necessarily need. Now it's my fucking responsibility to pay them back, right? Like, I still would have student loan debt regardless, but I would have probably, like, I don't know, maybe between $15,000 and $20,000 less than what I do right now. Because I think that's what I ended up taking out through grad school when I didn't need to between the 2 years. So, you don't learn anything from that, right? And it's just, everyone's just like, whoa, what is me? And then the like the big time Democrats, like the crazy Democrats, like Elizabeth Warren and AOC.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. That's what they're saying.
Gotta get rid of all of it.
They were saying, oh, it should have been at least 50.
I'm surprised they don't want 50%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck it, make it 100.
Yeah.
All right, this is like old school. Actually, I found my old notebook, the one we used to use at the house.
Oh yeah,
I forgot. Not only did I forget I had that notebook, I forgot I used to write in it like all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't have the notebook, but I got a Post-it note.
All right.
I have some questions.
Yes. And
I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that you don't know the answers just the same way I don't know the answers.
Probably.
I guess we can opine upon them, if you will.
Yeah.
So my first question is the 10K in forgiveness. Will it be taxable?
Yes, that's what I was getting to.
Do we have an answer on that?
Yes, we do. Actually, we have a pretty definitive answer.
What's the answer?
So, in 13 states across the country, the student loan forgiveness is taxable.
So I assume in 2022, anyone that accepts their 10K, it just gets added onto your Oh my God.
it gets
What?
counted as income.
Income. I'm like, what's the
Yeah,
word? I'm like
it's your
revenue.
income
But
tax, yeah.
but individual humans don't generate revenue. I was
Right,
like,
right. So I did look it up. I found an article on Bloomberg
Yep.
that I can't get to now on my computer, but because it's behind a paywall. So fuck Bloomberg. But I read it before on my phone for free somehow.
Yeah.
So I don't remember in particular the other states, but Massachusetts, they broke it down of the maximum tax liability that you would have if you accept 10,000 and you fall into the highest tax bracket possible.
Yeah.
And the tax liability in Massachusetts at maximum would be $500.
Is that 5% of 10K?
Potentially. Sounds like it could be. Yeah, it would be.
500. Yeah. But
Yeah, because
yeah,
10%, 10% of 10,000 is 1,000.
Yeah. Okay.
Half of that.
That's just
yeah.
that's
So it's
just
about
the
5%.
So that's just the state income tax.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So yeah, so for the state, it gets added to your income. And do we know if it's going to be federally taxable or no?
I don't believe so. It's only in 13 states.
Okay, so it's going to be a state thing. So federally, you're not getting taxed. So that's where the big number really comes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 500 from the state,
right,
that you now owe.
Right.
And that's or it goes against your refund if you get one.
Correct.
Okay. So that's funny to me.
So yeah, I mean, we've talked about that on the show before.
We
right?
have. Yep.
If you forget, like the public, because the other thing that still exists now is the public service loan forgiveness program,
Yep.
where like if you work for a nonprofit agency for 10 years and make 10 years consecutive monthly payments at the end of your 10 years, whatever you have left just disappears. So if you had $37,000 left at the end of the 10 years, it's gone. But guess what? You're paying taxes on that. So if you made $50,000 that year, in the government's eyes, you made $87,000 that year.
Yep. Yeah, but anyone fiscally responsible will take that trade. But
right. But morons are going to be like, why do I have to pay taxes now? Why do I owe taxes? I get a refund every year. It's like, well, the government just handed you $10,000. Like, did you think that they were not going to still take a piece of it? Like,
so obviously, okay, so everyone who takes the 10K, they're going to be taxed on that.
Correct.
In 2022.
Yeah, I think no, New York was the second highest. I think it was like 700. I think Hawaii was the highest.
It's
I think
probably
Hawaii
it's just whatever
was like
the state
850.
I assume it's just whatever the state income tax is.
Yeah, it checks out.
So because something else that we heard about this is, we forgive the 10K, and that gives young people more money to buy houses, whatever. So like let's ignore that 10K isn't enough to really make a difference, right?
Right.
Okay, let's just ignore that. Let's pretend it is.
Yeah.
When are individuals seeing these savings? Because every loan with interest that I've ever seen has a constant monthly payment.
Right.
So, for example, if you have a loan for $10,000 and they decide that your monthly payment is $200 a month, whatever, a certain percentage of that 200 goes to interest and a certain percentage goes to the principal.
Correct.
Generally, it's 100% interest to start.
Yeah.
And then you, by the end, so whatever the term is, so say it's a car loan and you do 10K over 6 years. The first payment you make is all interest. The last payment you make is all principal. And there's a proportion that goes each way.
Right.
So my question, and you don't have to know the answer. Let's just, do our thing. Where does the 10K come into play? Did they just eliminate the last X amount of payments, or are they going to go in and readjust everyone's figures?
Yeah. See, that part I don't know.
So, don't you think,
so in an ideal world, right? If it were up to me, which again, it's not, in an ideal world, you would almost turn this into like a voucher, right? Or like I guess a voucher is the best way I can think of it right now. So like say I log into my Nelnet account and it says you have a $10,000 credit. Like I should be able to go in and like distribute that 10,000 over like the bunch of like smaller loans that I have, like because you get technically it's one loan per semester per college. So I have 10 loans. I have four. Well, I don't know how many I have to be honest, because I have paid some off. I don't know. But let's use round numbers here. Let's say I have 10 loans, right? And they're all worth different amounts and they have different interest rates and all that shit. Like I should have like a little like checkbox in the top, right? Like you're using a gift card, like it's a gift card balance. And then like click on a loan that has like a $4,500 balance with the 6.2 interest rate. Well, I want that gone because that's a high interest rate. And then like my balance should change in the little box to say now you have $5,500 left to distribute. And then like so on and so forth. But I feel like that's way too fucking much. So I truthfully, I have no idea how they're going to do it.
Because I just know that obviously government is the least efficient process probably in the entire world.
Oh, yeah.
So we can probably assume that they're not going to recalculate. Yes.
Probably not.
So,
I mean, unless it's literally as simple as like an algorithm to type in and be like everyone's balance minus 10,000.
maybe. Okay. Yeah, maybe. I just assumed that.
But that's the problem though, is it's not a balance. It's like I just said, it's broken down into different loans. Like it's called groups. Like you have a different loan group. Like one group was the one semester loan that I got out. So it's, like I said, the one loan from one semester, I think is like $3,200 at like a 4% interest rate. But the one I got from grad school was like 8,000 at like a 6.8 interest rate. It's just the time of whatever year it was, whatever the going interest rate was the interest rate that I got. And so it's like shit like that. So like given the opportunity or given the choice, right, I would wipe out my grad school loans because they're more money and they have higher interest rates because the interest rates were higher in when was I there? 2015 and 2016 than they were in 2010 to 2014.
So I'm very curious because this is the government's probably looking out going, wow, we are a generous God. Look at this. We're going to eliminate 10K. So let's just say like your monthly payments were $500. Like I could easily see them saying, okay, well, your last 20 payments, you don't have to do it. Like your payoff date just got moved up.
Right.
So much time.
Yeah, I
don't know if that'll be it though.
I don't think that's going to be it either because it gets sticky with the different loans, the different loan groups. The more that now, because I've never actually like thought about it, but the more I talk about it and the more we talk through it, I think actually what I described was like kind of the only way you can do it.
Yeah, because you can't.
Because you have to like distribute that 10,000 accordingly to these loans. So it could be up to you essentially. Like I said, if you have 10 loans and you don't understand how interest rate works, you could take $1,000 off of each loan.
You think there's any chance they pick for you?
Probably.
And then they pick only
the lowest interest rates,
the lowest interest rates, or the ones that will end the soonest.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's my thing is like when you say, oh, we're giving 10K and that's going to help stimulate the economy, people will be able to buy stuff. It's like, no, because it's not, you're not giving them any money. You're not giving anyone anything.
They still have to make their monthly payment. And like, they don't right now, but come January 1st, like it's going to be 3 years. I sound like a broken record, but we've talked about this before, that you've had people that budget and live to their means, theoretically, right? That they have to pay a $400 a month student loan payment. When you give them at that time when we were talking about it, like roughly 2 years to not have that, people no longer have that money in their budget because now they've gone and spent that money on other things. Like now we're going on 3 years. So yes, it's cool. Like whatever, it's cool. They forgave $10,000 and they think they're all high and mighty because they're a generous God and they're a generous government. We are fucked in January when the payment, as a society, not me in particular, because, well, assuming I don't like get fired or fucking whatever, but or lose my job, but as a society, we are fucked when January 1st rolls around and people have to make their student loan payments again. And it won't be right away. Again, we said this before, give it 6 months, right? I don't know how the defer, default, I don't know the technicalities of all that shit, but like say it takes 6 months before you go into default or before like your non-payments and whatever the fuck, I don't know, just call it 6 months is a solid time. So by July, August, right around this time next year in 2023, expect everything to absolutely fucking collapse and fall apart. You can write that down in the notebook so we can come back and I can take another victory lap.
I didn't pull the notebook.
Yeah. So I'll go out and I'll say it now.
Still in the
July,
cabinet.
the end of summer next year in 2023, the fucking economy is going to absolutely fall apart. We're going to get another 08 and potentially it could be worse this time around.
We're economists now.
Yeah.
I still have questions.
Okay. Fire away.
Who does this benefit? And okay.
Do you want the political answer or do you want the real answer?
So, because obviously it's supposed to be, well, it benefits everyone with student loans. It gives them 10K off. But I know that that's not why they did this. It's not. Why the fuck would they? Like the fact that the government would do something to help us out is an insane thought to me.
So the thought process, how it was the political answer, right? How it was thrown out there to get support was, and apparently I don't know this statistic off the top of my head, but they cited statistics where the majority of people that are low income, considered low income, that fall in that bracket, have roughly $10,000 in student loan debt or less. Now, the thought process behind this, and I've heard it explained by some people, is because it's more likely than not that they dropped out of college, right? So someone that drops out of college, one is more likely to have a lower paying job, right? That's just statistics. It doesn't mean it's right, but it's just a statistic. And then you have student loan debt for a degree that you don't have. Yeah. So that was the thought process behind the $10,000 number, was that somewhere someone found some fucking genius, some Harvard nerd ran an algorithm and found out that $10,000 was the sweet spot of what people owed, but then also people that don't make a lot of money. So who it benefits actually. So to be truthful and to be honest, and this gets way too fucking complicated especially for the government, but what should have happened was it should have been more stipulations to it. It should have been, I feel like Shane McMahon, there's got to be stipulations here. It's a $10,000 for anyone, not that just makes less than 125,000. It should have been $10,000 for anyone that makes less than, I don't know, whatever, call it 75,000. And then also you had to have not finished college, right? Or like there should have been like more things to it.
I would have loved to have seen that, because if you thought the world was burning right now why should I pay off your loans? Yeah. Yeah, Mello, why should I pay off your loans? You tell me. Yeah. Yeah. If it wasn't that, well, I actually finished college. Why should I pay for someone who didn't? Yeah. No, I know. That would have been like, seriously, watch the world burn. Yeah. But if you look, like I said, from a purely economical relief standpoint, it's that, right? It's that person that makes $37,000 a year
and has $8,000 in student loan debt, that fucks them because they have to make that $400 payment every month or $300, you know what I mean? And they only make 37 to begin with. Like, that's who it's supposed to benefit.
So I have two problems with that thought. One, the government doesn't care about these people.
Correct.
Two, how is the government going to benefit from this? Because
the government does not benefit from this.
They have to benefit somehow.
This was it was a political play. So the Democrats were banking on this saving them from getting their asses fucking handed to them in November.
So that's I guess not government benefit, but members of government benefit. Right. The Democrats think this is their
correct. So if you think of it like
this is gonna fucking blow up in their face too.
If you think of it like almost like a tennis match, right? The Democrats hit the tennis ball to the Republicans, and the Republicans totally fucking whiffed when they tried to overturn when they tried to ban abortion, right? Like, they fucking missed that tennis ball so hard. If it was a beach ball, they still wouldn't have been able to hit it when they tried to fucking ban abortion, right? Like, that's you guys really cannot get out of your own fucking way. Like, yeah, I'm starting to think you enjoy having your head so far up your ass that you can fucking smell what you had for dinner yesterday. Like, it is incredible, the level of incompetence with the Republican Party and how fucking just stupid they are. But so again, in the tennis match analogy, Democrats hit the ball to Republicans and the ball says abortion. Republicans fucking close their eyes and just miss the ball. So point to the Democrats. Now it's the Democrats serve. They get ready and they just served a fucking 105-mile-an-hour tennis ball at the Republicans, being like, hey, we're giving everyone essentially free money. Go fuck. Like, this is literally like, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to save their asses. They're trying to stay in power, right? They're trying to get people to vote for them. So I heard a really interesting thing the other day in a podcast. This is a total side note, or maybe I read it somewhere. I think I read it somewhere. That Americans don't vote for anything. They vote against what they don't like. And I was like, wow, that is like a really fucking profound thing, right? So the reason why Joe Biden won with
it was an
81 million votes that no president ever has ever gotten. So this fucking guy that doesn't even know his first name, he can't even spell his name, he got more votes than anybody in the history of the country. Again, the numbers, whatever, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, he probably still won, even if the number was fake. He won not because people love him, but because people fucking hated Trump.
And people hated Hillary too.
Right. And why did Trump win? Because they fucking hated Hillary. And also he sold everyone a bill of goods that he was different when he wasn't really that different.
He was different.
He was different. Well, yeah, in that sense, he was very different.
Dude, they're still talking about him.
Yeah.
Still.
No, I know.
He is still just as polarizing.
It's the reason why we do the dance at like every 8 years, right? Like, go back in history. It's simple. And this is why when I read that, like, I thought of that. Like, typically it's every 8 years we change parties, right? So we had Obama. Well, we'll go with Trump, right? Well, let's fucking start now because this is all fucked up. But we got Biden, who's a Democrat, right? Beat Trump, who was only in there for one term. He was Republican. Well, who was the president before him for 8 years? A Democrat. Who was the president before Obama for 8 years? Bush, a Republican. Who was the president before Bush for 8 years? Clinton, a Democrat. Who was the president before him? H.W. Bush, a Republican. Who was, you could go back and play. Like, it's what happens all the time. It's people in the fucking country get sick of the party that's in power. And they're like, yeah, those other guys are going to be different. Fuck these guys. We'll vote for them. And then the same thing literally happens every 8 years. It's fucking Groundhog Day. And as a country, we're too fucking stupid to realize that it's not a Democrat or Republican thing. It's a politician thing. And they're all fucking cunts.
I'm a cunt. I got one more question.
All right. Fire away.
Who takes the loss in this situation? Is it the government just doesn't receive the 10K? Like
There's a lot.
have
So
the schools
who?
been paid off?
Oh yeah,
Because
schools get their money.
these are federal loans.
The schools are laughing all the way to the bank because the schools' bills are already paid. The schools'
So
bills were paid by the federal government.
so now, if you were running a school, I don't know, if you were a chancellor emporium of a prestigious university, whatever, why wouldn't you, or why wouldn't these schools just fucking clown the government from now on
Well, that's what they've been doing.
and just up and up and up and up and up and up?
Well, that's exactly what they've been doing. Did we do this role play on one of the episodes?
Know,
Why I hate the fucking higher education system and why it's a fucking racket.
Especially now, because now they've actually forgiven loans.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
we've set the precedent.
If you're a
so
university,
in like 20 years from now, if we go through something similar, like who's to say they're not going to be like, well, we need to forgive more student loans because we did it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
If 2042, we did it in 2022, why can't we do it again?
And especially it could be members of these universities manipulating the numbers.
Yeah.
Where it's like, wow, look at this study from Harvard and another study from Yale and another study from Columbia. And it's like, yeah, they're all fucking friends with each other. And they just called each other and been like, hey, grab some idiot kids and let's do a fucking study.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, look at this study and that study and this study. There's so many studies coming out. It's like, yeah, because they all come out from the educational system.
Right. So, like you said, like before, Bridgewater State University is not sitting there being like, fucking Jared Mello, man, still owes us $50,000. That when are we gonna? No, they've already been paid. It's the federal government now that holds that loan, like holds that debt, right? So the federal government is getting fucked. So to answer your question of who gets fucked here, it's the federal government and by proxy, the rest of us, all of us, including the people that got the relief, right? Because now this drives inflation, right? It increases inflation. I'm not smart enough to understand why, but the people that are smart enough that talk about the economy have made it pretty clear that this would contribute to inflation in some way, shape, or form. It's, and like I said, it doesn't teach any responsibility. Is
society fucking over?
I hope so.
Like we have inflation going, like inflation, like everything that the government does is going to increase inflation. Like everything they do. They can't do anything without increasing inflation. Even when they try to reduce inflation, they increase it.
Yeah. Oh, do you mean the Inflation Reduction Act?
That increases inflation. It's amazing.
That actually has nothing to do with inflation and is actually a clean energy bill.
And then it's like you sit there and they're like, wow, look how much cheaper gas is compared to, 8 weeks ago. It's like, yeah, because 8 weeks was almost $5 a gallon.
Yeah. You want to know the dirty secret?
It's still fucking $3.85.
I saw this today. This dirty little secret that no one wants to talk about. So the reason why gas has gotten so low is because, well,
it was low.
Right. Well, the reason why gas came down, so low compared to $5. I just paid $3.72 like the other day. So the reason why
whatever was nice
gas has come down is because we started pumping our own oil from the Strategic Oil Reserve.
Wow.
And guess what? I just saw today in one of the my daily news emails that I get that the Strategic Oil Reserve in this country is at its lowest point that it's been since 1984. So that's another thing that's been artificially, I guess in this case it would be deflated, right? So it's artificial. The government was like, oh shit, gas prices are really high. People are going to freak the fuck out. Well, we have this thing called the Strategic Oil Reserve that's supposed to be for an absolute fucking emergency in the case of a fucking nuclear war when we can't get oil anymore from Saudi Arabia. We have enough oil in this country, I think, to last 90 days or something like that before it goes away. Well, we've been pulling from that. We've just been pulling and pulling and pulling, and supply and demand, quick little economics lesson here. when the supply goes up because we're inflating, right? We're inflating the amount of oil that's available because we are pulling from an oil reserve that's supposed to be an absolute emergency. And then the gas price comes down because there's more oil here. Nothing has changed. OPEC hasn't pumped anymore. We haven't gotten more ships of oil from fucking Saudi Arabia with the Live tour. They didn't send it over with the Live guys. Like
aren't we getting like 3 billion barrels from them a day?
Yeah. It's ridiculous, the amount of oil that we go through in this country. It's kind of impressive, actually.
Doesn't the U.S. government know that
15, I think it's 15 billion barrels of oil a day.
Don't they know that Saudi Arabia was behind 9/11?
Yeah.
Because people on
no
Twitter
one wants to
seem
talk
know
about that. Yeah, only when it comes to golf. Not when it comes to fucking filling up their truck. They don't want to talk about the Saudi Arabia and their fucking their doings, their near dwellings. So that's the thing, right? So again, it's artificial. It's all fake. It's all fake. If the government had not started pulling from the strategic oil reserve like 2 months ago, gas would still be $5 a gallon right now. Again, everything is fake. Like this government is fucked, right? Like everything they do is smoke and mirrors. They're like, oh, look, we're doing this. We're happy. Aren't you happy? Gas is down to $3.72. Oh, yeah, yeah, it's great. I love gas, $3.72. And no one asks the questions. How did it get there when nothing has changed? There's still a fucking war in the Ukraine and Russia. Remember when Biden was blaming it on fucking Putin? Oh, it's Putin's price hike. Oh, so all of the other prices for everything in the country, literally everything. I see all these things: chicken, corn, beef, fucking peas, carrots, everything across the board is ridiculously inflated, still going up. But gas has gone down. It's fake. We're literally, this is, like I said, it's the lowest. The emergency oil reserve is the lowest it's been since 1984, when I think that was like right after we got out of the gas crisis. I think the gas crisis was in the late 70s. So, like I said, nothing has changed. The war in Ukraine and Russia hasn't stopped. We're like, it's the other hilarious thing that I saw too is that, so Saudi Arabia, again, great guys, where we get our oil from, what they've been doing is fucking hilarious. Shout out to Sagar and Jetty for posting this. So I think he actually reposted from the New York Times. So go figure, the New York Times actually did something good. So they have discovered that Saudi Arabia has been buying Russian oil and then either keeping it for themselves or selling it to the United States. So the United States that put the fucking sanctions on Russia, that was like, we're not going to buy any more Russian oil. And then all of a sudden gas got to be $5 a fucking gallon. We're still, again, we still have the same sanctions. We're still not buying Russian oil, or so we thought. Come in, Saudi government. Saudi, they don't give a fuck about Russia and Ukraine. They're like, who gives a fuck? We have so much money. We fucking wipe our asses with gold bullion. Like that's cute. Fucking a war? Yeah. Excuse me while I jump in my Scrooge McDuck pool. Like, fuck off. They're like, yeah, sure, Russia, we'll buy all your oil. And then we'll turn around and sell it to the US for even more. And they make a profit. They make even more money. So they've been drilling the same amount, which actually was reduced because every OPEC, the whole oil production, whatever country, whatever the fuck OPEC stands for, decided across the board that they were going to reduce drilling during COVID because, one, it was COVID, and two, no one was really going anywhere. They've never brought their production back to pre-COVID levels, which again was why gas got so expensive. And then you throw in, we stopped buying Russian oil. Again, gas $5. Now here we are 3 months later. What's coming up? The election. Here's another fucking thing. The Democrats are going to be like, well, aren't you happy that gas is down to $3.30 now? Isn't this great? No, because and everyone's going to be like, yep. No one asked the question, why? Why is gas so cheap when everything else is still so expensive? It's because it's fake. You stupid fucks. Like, ask the questions. Like, no one sits there and asks the question of why. Why is this the case? Why is this the only thing that's coming down? Why? They're just like, well, who cares? Whatever. So we're fucked. So yes, to answer your question, that's a long-winded way. I think this is the end of society. And I hope it ends with a fucking bang. Like, I hope, dude, I hope the fucking meteor comes and it just fucking lands right here. I hope it lands right on me. Like, I hope it's a massive enough meteor to be a world ender, but like the direct impact area is me. And I hope it's like on the highway. Like, I hope the timing is that perfect where like I'm driving on the highway and this massive fucking asteroid comes out of this, it kind of comes out of fucking space and blows up the world, but it starts with me. I hope I'm the first one.
I might carbomb myself.
And not the drink.
Nope. Because I'll forget.
Man.
I'll forget.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
If I put a car bomb in my car, I would forget, and I would fucking blow myself up.
Yeah,
1,000%.
Yeah. Then it's not your problem anymore.
No. Yeah, it'd solve a lot of things.
Yeah, it would. It would. That's a pretty epic double fucking rant. I had a rant on fucking student loans that I love, and just society and dumb people in general. That's good. I feel good. I feel better now. It's therapeutic.
I feel discouraged.
Well, you have to feel encouraged to then feel discouraged, and I've never really felt encouraged. So, but
dumbest time to be alive.
Oh, for sure. But while you were talking before, I actually looked it up. The average student loan debt by age. So 35-year-olds on average, they have the highest outstanding student loan debt. So 35-year-olds on average have $42,600 per person. And their typical balance is almost 300% higher than the value of their original loan.
Interest.
Yep, that's how interest works. So 50, I got to do quick math here. Fuck me. 55% roughly of all of the student loan debt in the country is held by people 39 years old or younger.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, everyone just got 10K. It's a lot of people.
Oh yeah. Well, you know,
they're all going to buy houses now.
Yeah. Wow. So that's wild. I feel like these numbers, this isn't all people. This is just people that have debt, because apparently the average remaining student loan debt by age group, the 90 plus range is $21,000. That seems to like not make any sense to me.
90 years old?
Like 90 years old and older on average have 20,000, like 21,000.
Yeah, no, that's just people with debt.
Yeah, that's just people that have never paid their student loans. They're like, fuck, I wasn't planning on living this long. Yeah.
They're not alive anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty good website, the educationdata.org. They break it down by state. So people in Massachusetts between 35 and 49 on average have $45,000 of debt. Hey, I'm above average on something.
more debt than average.
Yeah, I finally found something that I'm above average on. So, yeah, that's all that fun stuff. Oh, and then, to add on to the fucking shit pile here, I saw this the other day. Where is this? I have a bunch of tabs open. I have to find the right tab. So PwC, fuck, what is that? Price Waterhouse Clearing, something like that. I think it stands for.
Something like that.
They have just completed a survey and done some research. 50% of all companies in the United States are freezing hiring, rescinding offers, or laying people off.
That's good.
50%.
Yeah, that's good. That's encouraging.
Yeah. This is great. This is good writing. Whoever this is, I would like this article was written by some guy named Matt Boyle. The very first line in this article is, if your organization isn't letting people go, the one next door probably is. That's pretty good. And quite literally, 50%.
That's that's good. That's discouraging too. That's good. This is just a fucking bummer.
What a fucking bummer.
Everything's just like a fucking downer.
Yeah. Yeah, everything is not awesome. Everything is not like the fucking Lego show.
It's just mind blowing. I don't know. Like, this is why I think society's fucked.
Yeah. Well, and then in that one breath, in the next breath, we have, again, this all contributes to the downfall of society. 88% of school districts throughout the entire country are facing bus driver shortages.
Yeah, they have been.
Yeah. There are currently on roughly 210,000 school bus drivers in the United States who make on average $37,000 a year. That's not a ton. Bus drivers are employed by either schools or contractors. 30% of the districts that they spoke to said that they are severely constrained by driver shortages, while 58% are moderately constrained. The most commonly reported causes were hiring issues and then driver pay. Up to 63% of school districts are now cutting bus routes.
Well, okay, so I've also got a fucking pet peeve.
This is good.
Okay,
before you get to the pet peeve, this is great. Some districts are now dropping the vaccine mandates and offering bonuses to attract more drivers. It's like, hey, you don't need this anymore. We just need you. We just need you to work. So that's
I don't
great.
know. It doesn't sound safe though.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
I've also got a pet peeve because back in my day, when it was uphill both ways in the snow, whatever, we went to a bus stop.
Yes.
We didn't pick every fucking person up at their individual fucking house.
Yeah, that's absurd. I think we've talked about that before too. Like the
joke.
whole, like the bus stop, like the bus thing now where like it stops at every fucking house and picks up all the kids. No, you walk to the fucking nearest bus stop and get the bus there. There's one stop for like however many kids, 8, 9 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, whatever. Like maybe you're the lucky son of a bitch that has the bus stop that stops outside of your house. Cool. But like the bus does not stop at everyone's house. Get fucked.
Yeah, maybe you don't need so many fucking bus routes if you're not picking up each individual kid.
Yeah, exactly.
We had 6 stops, not 30.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember how many stops I had. But well, it depends. Middle and elementary school, we had the regular buses, but high school, we used the MBTA.
Yeah, I had no bus in high school.
Yeah.
I would walk or drive.
Yeah. I drove my junior, senior year.
Oh, yeah, once I could, but no, like the bus didn't come to us. So that was that. And by the time I walked to a bus stop, it was like at the bottom of the hill. Like, of the school. Like that was the closest bus stop.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you're here. Great.
Cool. So yeah. And then so that this is all from this one little news email that like the daily Roca Wave. Shout out to Roca News. So this bus driver shortage comes at the same time as a teacher shortage, which
Well,
is
I mean, it's
which is
hard.
impacting much of the country.
Hey, it's hard to just find a hero.
Yeah,
You can't just take anyone.
Heroes don't grow on trees, you know.
No, they're not just like walking down the street.
Yeah.
So I can see that having a tough time finding enough heroes to go work.
So this is an interesting take, though. So the shortage has led some districts to implement 4-day weeks. I don't understand why not having enough teachers means that you should only go to school 4 days instead of 5, because you still have the same amount of not enough teachers. Whether you go to school,
whether it's
1 day, 4 days, 5 days, 7 days,
I don't understand.
Like, you still don't have enough teachers.
I don't understand how 4 days alleviates that.
Yeah, I don't either. And then my personal favorite is the second half of that sentence is, and offer less qualified people teaching jobs, a la me back in the winter when I was a middle school math teacher. Which, again, to be fair, wasn't like a daunting task. It wasn't like I was trying to teach pre-calc, but like I am not qualified to teach middle school math, and I was.
Yeah, but you also were at a private school, so that's different. They don't really have rules, you know?
Yeah.
They have some rules, not many.
Yeah, and then the rules they do have typically aren't followed.
They're very, very flexible.
Yeah, they're very morally flexible.
Morals. Nah.
Yeah.
No, because it's not even morals. It's if you're in like a private school like that, it's like, oh shit, we got a problem. And it's like, oh man, no one's qualified to handle that problem. It's like, all right, well, fuck it. Whoever's next can handle it. It's like qualified or not, fuck them. Yeah. And it's like, no, you're supposed to have a license to teach that class. Not anymore, because we need someone to teach it.
Right. Yeah. Well,
would you rather have no class or someone unqualified? You would think no class, but no.
Yeah.
Bring in the clown. Yeah, I feel bad for the heroes. They had to go back to work the other day.
Yeah, it's tough. Make sure you thank a teacher when you see them out there. Thank them for their service.
Do I really have to go back? I mean, listen, I say that every day, but at least it's every day.
Yeah, at least I'm at work every day.
Like, do I really have to wake up today? Yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Oh, do I really have to go back after not doing anything for 2 months?
I'm not ready for summer to be over.
Yeah. Hey, cool. Cool, man. Why don't you get a real fucking job?
Dude, you just don't know how hard they have it. All that unpaid overtime they have to work.
Yeah. Yeah. The education system is built on the back of unpaid overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that unpaid overtime, the school system would collapse. And should we talk about supplies? Supplying their own supplies.
How
I spent like $500 on my room. It's like, well, don't next time.
Yeah, no one asked you to.
Yeah, well, it has to be decorated. Does it?
Does it? I don't.
Because one of the best teachers I had a calendar in the year 2005. He had a calendar from 1989, 1990, and 2003. And when you asked him why, he goes, well, every few years they come back around. Other than that, he had no decorations in the room. It was amazing. Or he might have had a bunny on the wall, or maybe that was on the calendar. Because what he would do is, if you were giving him shit, he'd be like, well, I'd take this eraser and I would throw it at you, but I don't want to hit my bunny. And then people would turn around and he'd fucking ding him in the back of the head.
Was that Murph?
No, it was Zaya.
Oh,
that was a guy. That was a guy no one had.
I never had him.
So he was tucked in the bottom corner. You know the corner room that was on the first and second floor.
Yeah, like
So, you know, like if the Japanese library was on your right
yes.
and you walked straight,
Yeah. Yep.
there's a classroom right there,
Yeah.
but there
Yeah.
was also a classroom to the right,
Yep.
like in the corner, like down like the little mini thing.
Yeah. The like the fake hallway.
Yeah, he was in there.
That's like kind of near where my locker was on the first floor. I was like right there. I was on the corner.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
when you turn the corner from like there was the stairs and then there was like the little fake hallway with those classrooms tucked in there.
Yeah, it was just the
Like
one. It was
my locker was like a little further down. It was like, I don't know if you remember, but it was like right outside of Woodnall's room.
Yeah. So I mean, he was on the block.
Yeah.
I think Zay was just all the way down. I forget if Zay was first or second floor though. That's the only thing.
Yeah. I think he was second because I don't remember him because Woodnall was my homeroom teacher.
Yeah. Well, I forget. I don't know who was in the corner in the first floor, but
yeah. It ended up being the fat lady that taught pre-calc. I forget it. She was a Russian lady.
oh, I didn't have no Russian.
Yeah. I mean, she was nice, but you know, she's
I
Russian.
was say I remember. I forget who I had, but that was a class. So that was so it was sophomore year of high school is when I started not being able. Nope, junior year of high school is when I stopped being able to kind of see red on the whiteboard. And she always used fucking red. Always used red.
Yep.
I don't even remember her name, but and I always had to move. Like, Bobby, do you need anything? I go, yeah, I told you I can't see red.
Yeah.
She'll go, oh, okay.
Let me keep
Like,
using red then.
Oh, Bobby, do you need something? It's like, I told you I can't see the red marker.
Yeah.
So if you continue to use red, I'm continuing to move here because you don't want anyone to move because it was like assigned seating and like truthfully, like I wouldn't ask to like, hey, move me because then it was like, you know, this group of girls sits together there. This group of girls sits together there. This group of guys sits together here. This group of guys sits together here. It's like everyone kind of had their seats and it worked.
Yeah.
I just couldn't see the fucking board.
Yeah.
Plus, I didn't understand pre-calc. I don't know. That was like one of those. That was like another one of those classes where I would read a word problem, and to really dumb it down, it would be like, George has 7 watermelons. Carl shows up with 3 dozen eggs. How fast was the cow sprinting around the track? It's like, what the fuck?
Like where did this come from?
What? I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand what you're asking me because that's number one.
Right.
I don't understand what you're asking me, and I don't know how the pieces fit.
Yeah.
And then the answer ends up being like green. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you find this?
Pre-calc sucked.
She goes, oh, how do you solve for this? And I go, like this. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, so how the fuck do you know to do that? Like, that's what, like, I don't know. That was the problem with me in math.
I remember.
You want me to solve an equation? I can solve an equation. You want me to read a fucking word problem? Give me a fucking book.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I don't remember the specifics of like what was in what class, but I do remember taking calculus senior year
way easier
and being like, why is this so much easier than pre-calc?
And it's
like
different.
You would think pre-calculus is like easier to get you ready for calculus. No, when I took calculus, I fucking crushed it. Like, I was like, oh, cool. This makes way more sense. Like, I had no fucking idea what I was doing in pre-calc.
And you would think pre-calculus teaches you the elements you need to know in calculus, and they don't.
You would think
it's a completely different class.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I would have been better off taking fucking trig.
Yeah. I would have been better off taking Spanish 1 or something. Like,
yeah.
No, you actually had to take math. Stupid.
Yeah. That was the one you couldn't bail on.
Math and English.
Yeah.
Fucking lame.
What did I bail on?
Because
I bailed on Spanish.
History, science, and the languages you could get more creative with.
I took 2 sciences my junior year. I took, I think I took physics and anatomy my junior year. And then my senior year, I took
environmental,
AP bio.
Oh,
and something else. I had a couple AP classes my senior year.
AP Bio.
I think I was in AP
with the
Calc.
guy with the skullet.
I think I actually was in AP Calc and AP Bio.
Oh my god!
Because I remember.
Did you have the guy with the skullet for AP Bio? Because I know we taught AP Chem. I don't know what his name is.
No, I had well, fuck, what was her name?
He was
Driscoll.
Oh, I don't even think I know who that is.
Miss Driscoll.
Yeah, because it was the guy who had like the auditorium room.
I don't think I remember that guy.
Oh, it was the around the corner in B building. He had literally had a fucking Hulk Hogan skullet. He definitely taught AP Chem. I know that.
AP Chem. Yeah, I never took AP Chem. I took chemistry my sophomore year and was like, yeah, fuck that. Because Wadness was the physics guy. He taught AP physics.
Yeah, I was not taking him.
He was like he was the wish.com version of Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, I had him for homeroom. He's such a fucking weirdo.
Oh, Wadness?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was weird. He was, like I said, he's a nice enough guy, but he was just weird. Like I said, he's the wish.com version of Wilson. Like Wilson was cool, funny, like kind of jacked, and Wadness was just kind of like tall and lanky and fucking goofy looking.
Yep. AP Bio. I love that too, because it's like I think my senior year I took anatomy and environmental. And we were the last class that got to go to the zoo. So maybe that was a deterrent.
Yeah.
Because a kid tried to fucking climb the zebra cage. Which is also preposterous that they brought us all the way to the Franklin Park Zoo. It's so fucking far away.
I know. That is. Yeah.
To fill up like 4 buses of people, 2 buses, like so far.
Yeah. They go through Boston and everything too.
I don't even know which way we would have went. Like,
yeah, we have gone through like Cambridge.
I don't even know. Like,
yeah, I don't even know.
You figure it's get off in Dorchester somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea how.
But it's like, how the fuck would we have done that during the week and not have it take fucking 6 hours?
I know. I don't know. Maybe traffic was different back then.
Say, but that was the end of it. It didn't matter after 2008 because that was the end of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Got kicked out of the fucking zoo.
we did a lot of shit to like be the last. Like my grade was the last grade to ever have the senior luau. Because one of my classmates, who I was friends with at the time, we pre-gamed obviously the senior luau. Yeah, you definitely.
Oh, it was at the school though, right?
Yeah, it's at the school. Yeah, it was in the fucking main lobby.
Class of 03 ruined it having it at Kowloon.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, the class of 03 ruined the Kowloon. So then the luau was just at the high school. So we all pre-gamed it, right? Obviously, because it's fucking senior year and it's a dance. So it's like, whatever, it's a luau. So one of, like I said, my classmates who I was friends with at the time decided to continue pre-gaming when we all went inside and got way too fucking drunk and fell in the parking lot and hit his head off the curb.
There we go.
And was found by the security guard who was walking outside. So that was it for the senior luau. They said no more.
That's funny. So that's in a 7-year span because the luau. Luau. I'm like thinking Hawau and Lauau.
Yeah.
The luau used to be at Kowloon, and then the class of 03 was in there like doing lines, trying to sell shit to fucking customers. Like they were just fucking out of their minds. Class of 03 was nuts. They might
be like 50% dead at this point.
We need to find someone from the class of 03 that can actually recollect what they did, because not only did they fucking ruin the Kowloon for everybody, they also on Grand Theft Auto Day, like when Grand Theft Auto 3 was released, they all went to school, systematically left the school like through the windows and shit. And then they all snuck back in. But someone had figured out during the day that they were all gone.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how many of them got in trouble for that. Like they were out of their minds.
Yeah.
Class of 03.
Yep. Were they the turkey?
What, did they put a turkey in the building?
Yeah. Someone
That actually happened?
No, that was real. So I don't know if you remember Miss Riccardelli, the
I had
history
her
teacher.
for like first.
I had her
like,
for freshman
whatever
year
that
history.
was, fucking
So
Hindu.
I forget what class it was. It might have been the class of 03. They got a turkey. And I don't know how they got the turkey. I don't know if it was ever discovered. But they let it loose in the atrium. So for anyone that didn't go to Medford High that listens to the show or watches on YouTube, shout out to you guys. Our high school was set up like
a prison,
kind of like a prison. So there was
it was by a prison designer.
It was exactly designed like a prison. So there was an atrium like in the middle that had like classrooms and 4 walls around it. There was overpasses for the 2nd and 3rd floor, and then an underpass that was like open air. And obviously you could like walk out into the atrium, and there's big, huge green space in there, but you couldn't get out, right? Like there was the door, like
it's like
the
a rec
door
yard
from the hallway and the door to the other hallway. Like that's it. So I think, well, I'm going to attribute it to the class of 03 because we don't let facts get in the way here.
It sounds like them.
So somehow they corralled the turkey through the building and into the atrium, because that's the other thing. You have to go through the building to get there. It's like in the middle of the fucking building.
But you could really shorten the walk, because you could go in over by so when you come up the hill, it like you're driving up the hill to get there, instead of taking a right to go to Lots, you go straight.
Oh yeah,
which would have brought you up by the fields,
by the gym.
But you stop like halfway, like just past the preschool and shit.
Yep.
And you can go in one of those doors, provided it's open.
Right.
And then the underpass door's right there.
Yeah. So again, they corralled the turkey and let it loose in the atrium. And this turkey was just fucking going nuts. It was flying around in the atrium, and everyone was just kind of like watching it. I think it was like their senior prank. Like they just let the turkey loose. Well,
they should have brought a rhino.
Miss Riccardelli, who told me this years later as I was in her freshman history class, the turkey tried to fly, because turkeys can fly a little bit, and it flew straight into her classroom window and shattered the window and died in the middle of her fucking classroom.
She would have been there too in 03.
Yeah.
Could have been her.
Yeah. No, I vividly remember the story. I remember her telling us the story. Because I think I asked. I might have been the asshole that just asked. Like, hey, do you remember, was there ever a turkey that got let loose? And then she started laughing and told us the story, and was like, it was in this classroom. I don't know if it was that particular classroom. Like she might have moved to a different room.
She was first floor with a window to the underpass.
Atrium. Yeah. But I mean, that would have been 3 years prior. Like she could have, you never know, but whatever. But yeah, so that was her classroom. The turkey fucking flew through the window and killed itself. Pretty awesome.
Good stuff.
Well, that's a great way to a great note to end on. So you want to start wrapping this up?
We can wrap this up. I need to issue an apology to the Bay Club. Bay Club's located in Mattapoisett.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, I left there feeling as though the class was stupid. Not class. I'm looking up the class of 03. I'm trying to find out if they fucking had any police reports. And I can't find anything. So I left there feeling that the course was stupid. I felt like they it's goofy. They don't give you anywhere to hit it. It's fucking really just like dumb golf course. And all they did was trick out their greens so that they're fast. So people be like, oh, wow, they're so fast. And it's like you can't putt them because the ball never stops and whatever.
Yeah.
So this year, the event was on a Tuesday, which fits my schedule well. So I go, you know what? It fits, because sometimes I make that call. It's if I don't like the course, but it fits my schedule, I'll play.
Yeah.
Not every event is going to be Wannamoysit or Myopia. That's fine. So it fits my schedule. I'm going to play it. Like I'm going to play Ledgemont next week. It's supposed to be in awful fucking condition, but it fits my schedule. So I'm going to play. So leading up to the Bay Club, I'm like, I just remember being like fucking lost off the tee, like specifically. I hit some like decent shots that ended up in bad places. And like, I think I almost like left feeling that way. Like, wow, this place punishes good shots and, doesn't help you out if it's bad either. So it's like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? And it's like, oh, wow, look, another bunker here. Imagine that. Like,
Yeah.
fucking whatever. So I'm signed up. I'm reading John Sherman's book. So I get to the GPS when he's talking about like GPSing and satellite images, whatever, which is something I've done before. So I Google Earth all the holes and I map out all my tee shots. Same thing I did Saratoga National. So I've got my plan. I'm playing whatever. And I'm just like, I don't really give a fuck. So get back there today. And I'm playing. And I'm following the strategy. The strategy was Loctite. That thing was nails. My execution left a lot to be desired. Like, dude, so on the first hole, it's like it's like I got it to go. I say 220 left bunker. I fucking yank it down the right side in a bunker. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
And like on the first hole, I'm already going. You fucking made that whole strategy for no fucking reason because you can't execute. It's like, no, stop. Stop. And seeing it the second time and paying attention to it. And I don't know, maybe it's because I have contacts. I can actually fucking view the place. It's solid. Bay Club Mattapoisett, solid. It's not goofy. What it is you need to have a strategy off the tee, whether you use satellites or you get practice rounds or you're a member there. It doesn't fucking matter. Whatever you need to do to get strategy off the tee, you have to do it because it forces some layups. It forces a few different clubs to get hit. So like I was hitting a couple drivers, couple hybrids, couple 5 irons, 4 irons. Like I was hitting like different tees, whatever. And that does leave some long shots in. But when it leaves you a long shot in, the green's huge. So it's actually, so I think I left there feeling like unimpressed, like this place is stupid, whatever, because that was also where I had to play cart path only with 3 guys who had no fucking idea what was going on. And we got slow play penalties. So like I remember one of the holes and it's a par 5. And again, we're playing cart path only. And I asked one of the kids, hey, can I walk? He goes, you can. I'm like, or he goes, well, it's like a quarter mile a couple times between holes. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to get a ride. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I rode. It was cart path only. Guy brought 7 clubs with him to hit a layup on a par 5. And goes, I don't have my pitching wedge. Walks back over, grabs the pitching wedge. I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me.
Might as well just unhooked your bag and just carried it with you.
That's what I do when it's car path only and I need like all that shit.
Yeah.
But and then seventh tee where I hit, another guy hit, third guy hits, one guy's still sitting in the cart. He goes, oh, did you guys hit yet? Yeah, dude, we did. Let's fucking go. Get off your fucking phone.
Yeah.
And then we get slow play penalties and everyone's like, well, what the fuck happened? Why do we get slow play? Because we played fucking slow.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're not ready to fucking hit. And that's what happens when there's a group ahead of you and you fucking don't know where they are. It's very fucking simple.
Right.
So this time it was not car path only. I did not have to deal with fucking morons like that. I played the worst in the group, so that's fine. And it's like, again, my strategy was good. My execution was poor.
Yeah,
So,
that'll get you. That is the other part of it.
Yeah, well, but again,
execution is part of it.
So me leaving last time had nothing to do with my score. It had everything to do with feeling like, oh, all this place is just hazards in the landing area.
Right.
It's like, oh, all they do is just make it fucking long and straight and disconnected. And it's like, nah, that's not exactly what's going on. Yeah. Now, they do demand a specific type of tee shot, but the green correlates to whatever that tee shot is. So there's a hole that's 317 and you can hit it 190 off the tee, or you can take on a little bit more and a couple bunkers come into play, but there's still some decent width. So I hit 190. I only had 120 to the pin, and that green is just fucking fucked up. Like huge false front and everything runs away from the middle. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm following along. So you can lay it back and you can bring the ball in lower, but you're going to have to negotiate that green a little bit more. Or you can take on the more risk up a little bit further, and then you can throw a wedge up higher in the air and probably stop it a little bit easier. So it's like that's sort of like some of the options.
Right.
And then like one of the holes, I was like, I got 220 to a bunker. So I hit 4-iron, but it was into the wind and it was just like not enough club. So I had like 174 in on a short par 4. And then I just absolutely just striped a fucking 6-iron to like 15 feet. I'm like, they give you everywhere to hit it into the greens, which normally is not a course I like. Maybe it should be. I don't know. Like, because I'm way better with my irons than everything else. But then I still think I want to have a harder approach shot because I will hit that shot better than most people, provided I'm in play. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so after leaving feeling unimpressed with the Bay Club last year, slight apology. I will not. It's solid. It's solid. It's good conditions. It requires some work, which if that's not your jam, then fine.
Yeah.
And then it's not like one that I would take the day off of work for, but if it does fit my schedule, I'll play.
That's fair. That's a good way to look at it.
Because at the same time, it is just like, if you took like the Plymouth courses and just said, hey, make these like really nice and pick like a solid 18 holes. Other than that, they're all the fucking same. Like,
yeah,
it just reminds me of like the Jones course a lot. So
does Pine Hills have 36?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Jones and Nicholas.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I doubt I'll ever be able to play there, but if I do, I'll make sure I strategize first.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, like, you might get like if there's ever like a charity something or other.
Yeah,
that's possible. But yeah, I mean, if I didn't have those satellite pictures, I probably never would have fucking played there again.
I went to the range today and actually
like hit balls and practiced.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Jeez, what a novel idea.
Had some pretty good contact with a couple clubs too. I didn't hit any wedges. I was like, I'm fuck the wedges. I focused on the irons, and then The hybrid, man, I just don't know what it is. I have not been able to hit the hybrid. Everything is just a fucking hook. Like it'll go like 200 yards, but it'll be about, 60 yards to the left.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah. So I don't know. It is what it is. Driver was better actually, but I tried a couple. I tried a couple of those swings like Bryson was talking about, like when we watched that video on what was that Saturday night when we got the bourbon flu. We got attacked. We got jumped by a couple bottles of bourbon.
Yeah. They fucking poured themselves down our throats.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, let me try some of that. And it went really fucking far and really high, but it was like Slice City. And I was like, okay, I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, not quite. So my final thought, that's right, is I found this chart of the day. This has been a very Roca wave day for me. That's where I got a lot of my stuff. So, and some of my things.
Things and stuff.
So they do this thing called the chart of the day. And I thought this was interesting. They charted out, I'll hold it up for you here on YouTube, you can kind of see what I'm looking at here. So it's charted, it's color coded, all that fun stuff. It is the average, it's not the average, it is the cumulative age of the US Senate. So the average age of a US senator is 64.3 years old. In case you're wondering, like, oh, maybe that's representative of the population. Could be, right? Well, the average age of an American is 38.1 years old. So almost double. The average age of a US senator is almost double the average age of a normal person in the country. So that's pretty cool.
The average age of a senator is when most people are ready to retire.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it is. This is both Republican and Democratic senators, 64 on average. Dianne Feinstein is the oldest senator at, wait for it, 89 years old. She was born in 1933 and was 12 when World War II ended.
She probably remembers World War II.
Holy fucking shit. She was 12 when World War II ended. Awesome. John Ossoff is the youngest at 35, and he's actually the only person under the age of 40 in the entire Senate. He's the only one. John Ossoff.
Oh, in the Senate. I was going to say
35 years old.
I thought.
Yeah, no, this is just the Senate.
The psycho from New York, and then the opposite psycho from Colorado. I don't know
which one.
Bobart.
Oh yeah, I think she Colorado, Wisconsin, something like that. I don't know. She's somewhere out there. But yeah, they're in the House. So this is just the Senate. So there are, I don't know, if I were to guess, I would say roughly 50%, right? If you guys on YouTube, the 61 to 70 or 61 to 70 years old, is that green for the YouTube show? That's probably about 50%. So 50% are in their 60s. It's pretty fucking cool. And then there's about 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17, 20. There's 25 in their 70s. 25 senators are in their 70s. And then 5 senators are in their 80s.
That's even better.
Yeah. And Dianne Feinstein is 89. She was 12 when World War II ended. She was in the 7th grade.
She lived through the Great Depression too, right?
No.
When was the Great Depression? 31 or 30? Like late? Was it early or late 30s?
I thought it was the late 20s.
Oh yeah, it's like 29.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking 39. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't go right from the Depression to the war. That's true.
Yeah, there was a little grace period. Then it was the greatest generation.
Obviously, prohibition and shit.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah,
there ain't
that's
even fucking
pretty
many living people to fucking dispute the greatest generation. I'll tell you that, because it ain't fucking us.
well, yeah, no, that's true. That's actually pretty fucking accurate. Who's after them? Is it the boomers? It's the greatest generation and then the boomers.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. I have no idea. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Just politics fucking sucks. Everyone's way too fucking old. So pretty awesome. So that is going to do it for us, folks. So thank you for watching on YouTube. Click the thumbs up, subscribe, like, rate, review, leave us a comment below if you would like. Tell everybody you know about the show. If you're an audio only guy, you're still also going to want to subscribe. Still tell everybody you know about the show. If you're on Apple and Spotify, you can leave us 5 stars and a review. So we want to go ahead and do that. That would be pretty fucking sweet. Thank you to mybookie.com. Use the promo code mybookie. Nope, don't use that promo code. Use the promo code Sarcasm Pod. We've only been doing this for like 386 episodes now. Use the promo code Sarcasm Pod when you sign up to double your first deposit up to $1,000. Use the same promo code Sarcasm Pod at grillyourassoff.com, which is great. I got to put in another order pretty soon for grillyourassoff.com. Shout out to them. That Sarcasm Pod promo code will get you 10% off every single time you check out. So I use my own promo code. You should too. Instagram is Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is Sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. The website is the same, sarcasmspeaks.com. Go buy some merch, have some fun. And until next time.